Another day in my life of watching movies, and today I'm going to be re-watching an X-Men movie. This is a film that I remember hating when I first saw it, and that, of course, is X-Men Origins Wolverine, the first of the spin-off movies. I've rented it on Amazon Prime. I'm about to play it on my PS5 right now. But in case we get intruded to be my future self, I've also got my PS3 idling so that he can think I'm playing the X-Men Origins Wolverine video game here. So, gonna get set up now. Luke, don't watch it! Future me, what are you doing here? I need to warn you about a really bad film you're about to rewatch, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Please don't watch it, it's absolutely horrible. Well, before you get worried, don't worry. I'm not going to be watching a film. I'm playing the game instead. See? Oh, you're playing the game? Oh, that's a relief. Please, play that instead. It's much better than the film. But yeah, you're doing the right thing not seeing the film. I fooled him. He thinks I'm going to be playing the game when really I'm going to be rewatching the film. Anyway, let's start rewatching the film, shall we? Why did I lie to my future self? Why did I do that? Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So, it is time for the next review in my review series of course, the franchise being the X-Men films. This is the first film of the spin-offs which I'm going to be reviewing, and unfortunately it's going to be starting in a very bad way because it's going to be a trash talk for what is probably, in my opinion, one of the most embarrassing and worst superhero films I've ever misfortune of seeing in my life. And that film, of course, is none other than 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine! Or as I'll call it, X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, now, how was this film made then? So of course, it was, of course, announced, of course, following, of course, the release of X-Men The Last Stand, to be, of course, a prequel featuring, of course, Wolverine. And the film was mostly shot in Australia and New Zealand, with Canada also serving as a location. The filming took place from January to May 2008. Production and post-production were troubled, with delays due to weather and to Hugh Jackman's other commitments. And there was also an incomplete screenplay that was still being written in Los Angeles while filming was happening in Australia. So there was conflicts arising between director Gavin Hood and also Fox's executives over the film's direction. And an unfinished workprint was also leaked on the internet a month before the film's debut. Oh dear. And as a result of this, of course, the anticipation for the film was negative because the CGI in this leak was really bad. And many fans, of course, hoped it would be good, the film, but unfortunately that wasn't to be because the film was then released on May 1st, 2009 by 20th Century Fox, and the film was criticised for its story, script, visual effects, pacing and editing, while Hugh Jackman's performance was praised, and Hugh Jackman also later expressed his unhappiness with the final product. The film opened at the top of North American box office and grossed $179 million in the United States and Canada, and $373.1 million worldwide. When it comes to my reaction to this film then, so I can remember when I was a teenager that before, of course, the Easter holiday break at school, we watched this film in class on the last day before we broke up for Easter holiday, and even though I was really young at the time, I can remember pretty well that I absolutely hated it. Like, the film was, in my opinion, a massive embarrassment. And coming from somebody who loved, of course, the first two films, and I'm not really much fan of The Last Stand, I was hoping this prequel would be good because it features my favourite X-Men character of all time, but unfortunately I was painfully wrong. And then I also rewatched the film for this video, and guess what? It's still trash to this day. And I'll definitely regard it as the worst of the spin-off movies, in my opinion. So, now, what is this movie about then? So, I've just said, of course, this is a prequel which focuses on Wolverine and, of course, his origin story, if you will. So this film, of course, features the early years of the character James Howlett, who, of course, later goes by the name of Logan. And it features his rivalry with Victor Creed, who, of course, becomes Sabretooth, who, for some reason, is his brother in this film. His service in the Special Forces Team Weapon X, and his experimentation into the metal-lined mutant, which is Wolverine. So, and of course, it details his childhood, of course, as well, when he's in of course, Team X, he's working, of course, with a character who would later be his nemesis, William Stryker. And so, now, when it comes, of course, to this film, then, the only thing I can say in terms of advice to you guys, if you guys have not seen it, is please don't see this film, and if you guys have the right console or PC, then I would recommend that you instead play the video game X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition. This is the true story right here, what it should have been in my opinion. Like, this video game is miles better than the film. I recommend that you play this instead of watching the film. It's more worth it. So, now, if you were to ask me if there's anything good about this film then, so first of all, the film does have a great cast of actors who try their best in this film, although in my opinion they're pretty bad directions to work with. So, Hugh Jackman, of course, still gives a great performance as Wolverine, and as I said before in my reviews for the last 3 films, there is no other actor I would cast in the role other than Hugh Jackman. To me, he always will be Wolverine, and in my opinion, no one could play the role better than him. And I did also like Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth in this film. I think he did a great job with what he was given, in my opinion. Liev Schreiber's a great actor, and I think he did try his best what he was given, but still, I do, however, wish that Tyler Mane came back from the first X-Men movie, really. I think he would have probably been a lot more faithful to the trilogy if he brought back Tyler Mane, really, to be completely honest, but I still think Liev Schreiber did a great job what he was given, in my opinion. He's a great actor, and I did also like Danny Houston in this film as William Stryker. I think he did a very good job with his direction as well, in my opinion. But I did, however, wish that Brian Cox came back to play him, because I loved Brian Cox as in X-Men 2, and I would have loved it if he came back in this. And Brian Cox was actually keen to reprise his role for this film too, and he believed that he could have been de-aged to play a younger version of Stryker. But sadly, that never happened, did it? And I bet if they did de-age him, the result would be horrendous based on this film's CGI. And I also, as well, did also like Lynn Collins as Kayla Silverfox. I think she did also try her best with her direction she was given. Although, in my opinion, it was really confusing with her character. But I still think she did a very good job. Personally, I prefer her in Walking Dead, to be completely honest. But I still think she tried her best to as Kayla. And when it comes, as well, to the team that Wolverine is part of, I did like the casting of them. And I only like those characters at the start of the film, because I think after their first scene, it all goes downhill. So, I did like will.i.am as the character Kestrel, or John Wraith, who has the ability to teleport. will.i.am's one of my favourite singers, because he's part of course, the Black Eyed Peas, which is a great band. And I think in this film, he was pretty good as Kestrel, quite entertaining in my opinion. It's a shame he didn't have very much screen time like the rest of the team, sadly. I did also like Kevin Durand as Fred Dukes, who of course becomes the Blob in this, and Dukes is nearly indestructible skin, and I think that he did a good job he was given, although I do think he also deserved more screen time as well. And I did also like Dominic Monaghan in this as Chris Bradley, who of course can manipulate electricity. I thought he was good in this, despite barely appearing in the film, and one bad quality of this film is I really despise how he was killed off early into it, so I guess you could say he got the Alien 3 cliche, which was a really dumb move. I prefer Dominic Monaghan far more as Merry in the Lord of the Rings movie trilogy, and I did also thought it was also worth like Daniel Henney as a character Agent Zero. I think he also tried his best, in my opinion, what he was given, and as well. And also, as well, when it comes as well to Ryan Reynolds in this film, he of course makes his debut as the mutant Wade Wilson, who of course we all know as Deadpool. Now, I will say that personally, I only like him as Deadpool at the start of the film, especially Deadpool when it comes to that team, because the ending of the film, of course, completely massacres Deadpool, which I'll get to in the bad qualities. And what is also worth, I did also like Taylor Kitsch in this film as Remy LeBeau, who of course is the mutant's Gambit. I think he also tried his best what he was given to as well, but he also deserved more screen time. Like, why is it that this film gives us a great cast of actors playing these new characters and they underuse them? That's just a massive waste in my opinion. Just ridiculous if you ask me. And when it comes as well to others who are introduced in this, I did also as well like Tim Polcock in this, who of course appears as a young Cyclops. I think he also did try his best in my opinion what he was given as well, but when it comes to a younger version of character, I do prefer Ty Sheridan from X-Men Apocalypse, to be completely honest, but I still think Tim Polcock tried his best despite barely appearing in the film. And I did also like how we got a cameo appearance by Patrick Stewart reprising his role from the trilogy as Charles Xavier. That was definitely really nice to see him appear in this, of course, where he, of course, is able to rescue Cyclops and the other mutants from, of course, the labs, and they, of course, go with him to of course, be part of the X-Men. So I guess that was good how we got a cameo appearance from Xavier, and Patrick Stewart, of course, reprised his role. All the pleasure to have him on the screen. And we did also, though, de-age him as well with CGI. And because that scene is only like a few seconds, I can thankfully tolerate it compared to the film's other CGI. And I did also, as well, like as well, the appearances, as well, of the old couple, who, of course, take Wolverine into a cover, who are played by Max Cullen and also, as well, Julia Blake. I think they were definitely really good characters, and I love their scene interacting with Hugh Jackman, and definitely really nice scenes in my opinion. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the few good things about a film. And if you guys were to ask me what my favourite scene is in a film, besides, of course, the intro to, of course, Team X, it's probably the intro sequence itself, where we see Logan and Victor in all the different and historic moments in time, where they do things like they fight in wars and stuff like that. So I definitely really like that intro sequence. Like, why couldn't the film have been about them in historic times? That could have been, in my opinion, a way better origin story. Like, it's a bit of a shame, really, that, you know, that was only the intro sequence, really. Just disappointing, if you ask me. And also, as well, for what it is also worth, the film does have decent action scenes, in my opinion. Especially, of course, the opening sequence, as I just mentioned then. And also the intro to Team X. I guess that's good, in my opinion, but some of it, in my opinion, is not good. Especially, of course, the film's final fight. And I guess also, though, the music is also very well composed in this by Harry Gregson Williams. He's a great composer, and I think his music in this was good for what it was worth, in my opinion. Some parts, the music, you know, fitted really well, but some parts not so much. But I still think the music was good for what it was worth. But now, sadly, we get to the film's bad qualities. So, one of the worst things about this film, in my opinion, is most definitely the CGI. The CGI, compared to a trilogy, yes, even compared to a Last Stand CGI, is abysmal. Like, I have no idea what happened at all. And is it any wonder that the film had such a negative reception? It's because CGI is terrible. It's embarrassing. Like, one example of CGI, which I think is terrible in my opinion, is probably Wolverine's claws. Because compared to the trilogy where they looked so realistic, in this you can easily tell they're fake. Because the CGI is abysmal to look at. Like, I remember seeing it when I rewatched, and I actually laughed because it was pretty bad. Like, how do we manage to make it so terrible? Like, goodness me. Like, it was just embarrassing to look at. And also, as well, aside from, of course, trash CGI, not just, of course, for claws, but also things like explosion and stuff like that, it just looks so unrealistic and terrible, in my opinion. Just embarrassing to look at. I also, as well, did not like how many characters in this film were really underutilised and wasted. I've already said that I hate how Chris Bradley got the Alien 3 cliche, which really sucks, because I loved Donald Mohan as an actor. I hate how he was wasted in this film. And also, as well, how the rest of Team X also hardly appear in the film, following, of course, their first mission, which we see them in. So, I really didn't like how they gave us these great actors, and were all underused in this. Just a dumb movie, in my opinion. Like, yeah, all of them pretty much, right, after, of course, their first scene, they only appear, like, once afterwards, and then they either get killed off or left behind. I mean, Blob, in this case, got left behind, but people, of course, like Kestrel and also Agent Zero, they all unfortunately got killed. Agent Zero even turned against Wolverine and killed the old couple, which I also really hate, because I love the old couple as characters. They were great characters, and I love their scene interacting with Wolverine. And also, as well, now, when it comes to the number one worst thing about this film for me, it's how it completely massacres Deadpool. Like, what we did in this film was just unforgivable, in my opinion. Like, what were they thinking with Deadpool in this film? Seriously. Now, I only liked him at the start of the film, and that's it, because when he appears later on, that's when the character had died, as far as I'm concerned. Because compared to the comics where he's, of course, the hilarious Mercury mouth who breaks the fourth wall, in this film, he literally looks like a knockoff of Baraka from Mortal Kombat, just with his mouth sewn shut. So, like, what? That's not Deadpool at all. No! Not to mention, his powers are also so completely messed up, because for some reason he can teleport, he can also shoot lasers from his eyes like Cyclops. Like, what? And compared to comics where he, of course, has katanas on his back, which he, of course, can, take out and fight with, instead in this film, he has, like, retractable or, like, long claws. So, like, what? Like, that is not Deadpool at all. No. So, I was just so angry with something did to Deadpool. And also, as well makes the final fight scene between him and Wolverine an absolute joke. Because of how horrible Deadpool looks, it's just so hard to watch. Like, it's terrible in my opinion what we did to Deadpool. Like, goodness me, they ruined such a great character beyond all belief. I'm so glad, of course, that Deadpool's 2 films after this thankfully redeemed the character and Ryan Reynolds' portrayal as well. Even he, of course, hates that Deadpool was portrayed in this, and he, of course, as a joke, had, of course, his Deadpool shoot this version of Deadpool in Deadpool 2's credit scene, which was very satisfying to see. But, like, honestly, the way they ruined Deadpool in this was just a joke. Like, I can't believe we did that. Like, what were we thinking? And also, as well, when it comes as well to Kayla Silverfox in this, I also as well think her story is really confusing, of course, like, how she's revealed to be a mutant all this time, of course. Like, that, in my opinion, was really confusing to understand. I didn't have a clue what we were doing with her character at all. And not to mention, she also has a sister in this who appears to be Emma Frost, but apparently it's not Emma Frost. But, like, what? She has the same abilities as Emma Frost, where she can, of course, turn into Diamond. Like, that's just really weird, if you ask me. Like, the writing in this film is just terrible and confusing. Just ridiculous. And, personally, I didn't even see the point of doing an origin story for Wolverine, because we already, of course, saw his origins in X-Men 2 in flashbacks. We see him getting his adamantium and skeleton from Stryker. We saw this in X-Men 2. We didn't need to see it as a full movie. No. Like, all I can say is, this film does not need to exist, and thankfully, X-Men Apocalypse does wipe out this film from existence, because the event of this film where Wolverine escapes from, of course, his containment, getting his adamantium and skeleton, is thankfully shown in that film, and it retcons this film out of existence, so thank God for that. So, I just really hated how this film, like, it botched up the lore of the franchise and ruined many characters, especially Deadpool. But yeah, this film for me is just an absolute joke, and definitely for me the worst of X-Men spin-offs, because it underuses its beloved characters, and it has confusing in writing, like, for example, Sabretooth being Wolverine's brother, and also as well the whole characterization of Kayla Silverfox, and not to mention as well masculine characters, especially Deadpool. And also as well, abysmal CGI to look at. So, like I said, guys, if you want a good story, then just play the game instead, please. Just play the game, because that's still what I'm going to do. The true story right there is in the game, not in the film as far as I'm concerned. So, anyway, guys, this is me, of course, doing my trash talk X-Men Origins Wolverine. Definitely, to me, the worst of the spin-offs as far as I'm concerned. Screw this movie all the way. Because of a few even qualities such as, of course, the performances and also the intro sequence, of course, showing Logan and Victor in the history, of course, fighting. And I guess Weapon X's intro scene as well was also decent too as well, and a musical score. I'd give this film a very bad score of 4.5 out of 10. So, screw this film all the way. Absolute garbage, in my opinion. So, anyway, guys, this is me, of course, doing my trash talk of X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to vote in the comments what you guys think of X-Men Origins Wolverine. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to join the team, subscribe for this coming future, and I'll see you all later.